Hi, everyone. Welcome to the second episode of 10 Litentry and Friends and YouTube AMA series. I hope you guys have enjoyed the first episode of Litentry and Friends and 10 for Litentry. If you haven't checked it, please go to our channel. We have received many constructive feedbacks from our audience and from our community. And and we really appreciate all of them, and that's how we could improve. Today we have our Lilly, our CPO, and Victoria from iMe platform joining us tonight. I think they have a really long-term focus, just like us, and they are one of our ecosystem partner. And tonight they will be giving out $450 worth of USDT. If you want to get it, please ask your question in the chat section and follow both of our Telegram community. You can find them in the description. Hopefully, it will be more towards iMe because at the end of the AMA, Victoria will be picking 3 questions to answer, and each of the questioner will receive $150. And for some of you who didn't know about iMe, Victoria, could you provide us some background for our audience? What is iMe? Please go on.
Yes, sure. I have a lot to say. But first, greetings to all Litentry friends and fans. Happy to be here today, and thanks, guys, for inviting us. I'm going to share my screen. Just a second.
Sure.
Okay. And here you can see our name. It's iMe, Smart Platform. Smart Platform means a big ecosystem with a lot of exciting features and powered by Telegram. I'll explain it a little bit later. So generally, if I were to explain what is iMe to a child, I would say like it's a modern way to communicate with a lot of things. Modern great guys love like DeFi, crypto exchanges, and many, many more. It's a great tool for connecting people, making a lot of great things together, right inside one app and in double click, absolutely. So to have a closer look, iMe Smart Platform, it has a Telegram-based messenger. It has a crypto wallet, which is the key element in our ecosystem, and a lot of DeFi tools. In iMe, we empower Telegram users with DeFi tools. We work like ambassadors. We promote DeFi to the masses, to the mass users, to mainstream, and connect them right inside our application. And we wanted to make it really user-friendly so that people even new to crypto could manage cryptocurrencies seamlessly. We even have a joke on that, like the idea of creating iMe came when one of our co-founders wanted to send some Ethereum to his granny. And just have a look at the interface. That's how our wallet looks inside our application so far. And it's really user-friendly and easy to use. You can see some options here to send, to replenish, request transfer, and so on. Our application is already available at Google Play App Store. Everyone can try it. And we can see that our idea of combining crypto and non-crypto communities works really well, because just now within 3 months, since we introduced our crypto wallet, given that in total we have 2,300,000 downloads altogether for both iOS and Android platforms. Among this number, we have almost 90K of users, monthly users. We have more than 450 activated crypto wallets, and we have over 60K of active accounts with Ethereum there. And that numbers are till the end, at the end of May until June 4th. The numbers are even higher. And you can see the statistics here. It's the geographical spread. iMe is already gaining popularity in different countries around the globe. We can say it is very well globally adopted. For iOS, for example, we have the United States of America as the biggest country with the biggest number of downloads. We have some Asian countries as well. And here's the statistics on the daily usage of iMe. For those who prefer the numbers, it's a good kind of piece of information. And the thing is that we really have a working application, a working product already. As for the features, the first question was about the iMe functionality. As we said, iMe is developed upon Telegram's API, and it has all the features Telegram has, but have some extra extended functionality. The first thing, of course, is crypto wallet with the integrated DEXs inside. So far, we have Uniswap already integrated into our application, and we have Pancake and 1inch coming. We're going to integrate them pretty soon. And we have the opportunity in our application to buy crypto via banking card. We partner with Simplex, and this partnership enables us to provide such services for our users. From the communication side, we have built-in Google Translator in chat, so you don't have to move anywhere to translate what is written in another language. That's how we run iMe main group on Telegram and at iMe as well. So we use Translator. We have functional clouds albums. We have AI assistants in chat, near robots. We're going to introduce the new version of them pretty soon. We have advanced folder function. Personally, I use it pretty often when I need to send our updates to around 50 groups, which we run. And many more functions that are constantly developing, and we keep considering the feedback from our community on our channels. They can introduce some ideas how to make it even better and even more progressive than it is. I have a short video explanation of the features. Let's have a look.
Upgrade your Telegram to a new level. Use iMe Alternative Client, which is built on the Telegram API for advanced functionality. Have you already confused in the numerous amount of channels being subscribed to it? The topics will help you to filter your channels easily by various categories. Do you proactively communicate with foreign users without having advanced language skills? The translator will help you to translate incoming and outgoing messages. Do you like Telegram folders and think there is a lack of options? Use enhanced iMe folders with additional capabilities. Is your Telegram storage full of information in saved messages chat? Create private albums in the cloud and keep everything separated in a convenient format. Is it uncomfortable for you to listen to voice messages? The translation of voice messages into text format will solve this problem. There are a lot of improvements in the iMe. Try all of it without losing the familiar environment and Telegram safety. Because iMe and Telegram are interchangeable, have a common server part, and are fully synchronized. Available for free in the App Store and on Google Play.
And here is the feedback we got from our partners. You can see it works pretty well. As I said, you can't go back to the previous functionality if you have the upgraded version of it with a lot of new exciting features. As for the uniqueness, why are we unique? Why do you need to choose iMe, and why do we build iMe if we have some similar applications? We usually say that we have no competitors in the market. It is true, absolutely, because there are a lot of applications offering a crypto wallet separately and a messaging platform separately. And we are the first to combine them together, a full-fledged non-custodial crypto wallet on a Telegram platform that has a lot of users, more than 500 million. And it provides us with the unlimited opportunities for the growth, for growing our user base of iMe, because people don't have to switch from their familiar surroundings, familiar environment to any other platform. They have all their contacts, and applying iMe crypto wallet, they don't have to remember any wallet keys or something like that. They just need a Telegram handle of a person who installed iMe wallet and iMe application as well. So between them, there can be an easy transaction in double click. And besides, in iMe, we charge 0 fees in contrast to other wallet applications. When you use Uniswap, for instance, you pay only the commission that Uniswap demands, like the same way you use it on your computer, on a desktop version, but on your mobile phone. And it makes transactions in iMe cheaper up to 2 times in comparison to other wallets. And as for the uniqueness, I just wanted to add, try to put it shortly. We have a big ecosystem that is has the great potential to develop. As I'll have a kind of spoiler here. It's the information we haven't published yet on our official channels. And it's just the things that are coming, and you're going to be the first to know firsthand that we plan to develop our ecosystem in the 4 general directions. To broaden it, we want to try to introduce insurance and landed services to integrate the appropriate partner platform. We plan to have IDO platforms right inside our ecosystem. We want to use prediction services and spheres, and we want to have an NFT marketplace right inside our application. And that is one of the reasons we would be happy to cooperate with Litentry, with digital identities, to introduce that insurance and DeFi services in a better way. I think that could be beneficial for both of our project, and it's going to be very good. And as I said, different chains and DEXs can be integrated unlimitedly to our application, like Binance Smart Chain, Polkadot, and mentioned PancakeSwap and 1inch. I think we can.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that sounds really fabulous. I've had iMe in my phone as well. I think the translator and the bot features are super useful.
Great, you liked it.
Yeah. Are you still sharing a screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Great. So yeah, for me, like for project teams, like going forward, if everyone is using iMe, you don't even need like a separate community chat room for different countries with different languages, because one would be enough, because you can simply translate everything in one tap. And I've also tried Wallet. I can literally send a crypto asset to anyone in my contact list, which is awesome. So yeah, so I also have questions, like Victoria, in your perspective, like what value do you see in the combination of instant messaging and crypto wallet?
So I would say the first thing and the most important thing is the usability. When it comes to transferring crypto funds upon a messaging platform, it appears much easier for users to do that. And if you provide a good interface for that, it's going to be, as I said, in one double click. It's going to be very, very easy. And the second thing is we can use the huge database and the huge number of users to promote crypto wallet and DeFi services upon that platform. There's no need to attract people from somewhere else. You can just use that platform, and it proves to be very progressive, the Telegram platform upon which we built our application, and it proves to be very popular with a lot of users, and that's it. So
yeah,
the key thing is to make it more and more user friendly.
Yeah. So yeah, I can definitely see like iMe is really ambitious, and we're not stop adding more useful features for the users. So hey, Lily, how are you?
I'm good. Hey.
Yeah, sorry for keep you waiting. So
No, it's interesting.
I have a question for you. What is your imagination of Litentry's decentralized identity in instant messaging and social media?
All right. I think people can really unleash their imagination when it comes to decentralized identity, instant messaging, social media. There's a lot of things that can potentially happen in the future. I think the nature of decentralized identity is to reflect a digital self in this independent sort of way, without actually, having those third-party projects and companies determine who you are online. And so the combination of DID and social media is quite natural in that sense, especially with social media platforms like iMe. And this sort of self-control identity gives users the freedom, without actually having the sort of censorship, without having privacy breaches, without having those malicious tamperings. So it's really about, setting free the user. But it's not, it's not everything. There's a lot more. I think the decentralized registration method is just scratching the surface in that sense, because in social networks, we need a lot more. Actually, we need more diverse characters in reflecting, our digital selves. We need things like social recognition, reputation, your accomplishments, and verifications in different aspects are all like potentially needed. And so in this decentralized web, when we're trying to guarantee all those identity data, we try to make sure the data sources are trustable. We don't want to have any centralized control risk. And so what we're trying to do is have this whole infrastructure of different services. And I think in this way, in terms of what's going on in the future in that direction, I think there'll be a lot of projects working on those things at the moment, but also in the future. And I think Litentry, what we want to do, what we're doing is, we're gathering those centralized identity data sources, and we aggregate. And based on this, based on those different sort of sources, we compute this identity. And we, of course, we use a lot of different algorithms to help us to do that. And it's quite interesting because you have those there'll be many separate decentralized networks, and they're sort of providing all sorts of different information out there, but actually there's not going to be user, the data is not going to be flying around between the different networks because of the difference in data structure, difference in the language protocols, and so on. And Litentry, what we're trying to do is we're trying to equip the app's developers to be able to actually inquire a user's decentralized identity data in one stop, so that they can actually have, all sorts of useful things, like, for example, your DeFi tracking record, your on-chain governance behavior, and so on, so they can actually use this. And Litentry is like a middle component, and it's sort of like connecting all those different decentralized networks. And the idea is that actually without this sort of middle component, it's not really possible in Web3 to actually have all those services that the user can benefit from.
Yeah, totally agree. Sounds like we can look forward to a really good synergy between the two teams. And yeah, so the question comes back to you, Victoria. I'm curious of what's your view on DID? I mean, to be more specific, to what extent you think Litentry's decentralized identity will play a role to shape the future of iMe Messenger?
Okay, so I wouldn't say anything new to Litentry fans, describing the role of DID in the modern reality, in the realities we have. I think that whilst everything is moving towards decentralization, the role of DID will increase and increases constantly. To implement all the possibilities of DeFi services, we need this function, and Litentry will empower our platform to introduce all those services to our users. So with DID, people decide by themselves what to share, whom to share with, or when to stop sharing their personal information. And applying it on our platform, we expect that institutions will be able to join our platform and introduce their services to our users. For example, if we integrate a lending and borrowing platform, such institutions will need to confirm upon the user's data to provide services to them, and to introduce and offer probably better conditions for them, so they can address the ID and make the grounded decision, not just like having no information about a person. As for the role, we all remember the buzz about leaking data of social media platforms, around 87 million people's data. So with the DID, we cannot expect hearing such problems there. So it's rooted on blockchain, and it's safe and secure enough to not to be stolen, not to be tampered, not to be duplicated, and so on. So no intermediary can interfere with your data. Big DeFi players can come to our platform only if there are some mechanisms to provide such security to the data, and to provide the ability to check the data needed. So users can decide what information to show if they want to get this or that service. So as for the DID, also people can show their credit history to the organization, to the service platform. We can imagine a situation of employment, for instance. We plan to introduce a kind of job market on our platform also, and any institution can check a person's background if he wants, of course, by his or her permission. Many service providers, they also want to know their customers. The number of these providers is getting bigger with the course of time, and Litentry, together with iMe, we can drive this process. Litentry can provide sign-on solutions for easy one-off access, and our cooperation can introduce an easy way, seamless way to get identified on different resources simultaneously. So service providers will have the opportunity to present more relevant content to our users, incentivize them regarding the record track on different chains. And we can imagine, for instance, passing KYC procedures, as we will have an ideal platform inside our application also. So once a person passed a KYC procedure with one of the services connected to iMe or Litentry, he won't have to pass it over and over again. He can use the verification results applying for the next IDO. For instance, it's just using our imagination how it could be in the future when our cooperation is in more progress. And surely such users showing openings some of their data with a digital identity will get some privileges upon our platform. In this way, we can see that cooperation with Litentry can bring real benefits to our users, and can help our platform to introduce more and more services, DeFi services inside our ecosystem.
Yeah, so I can definitely see some great values in this partnership. And basically, this partnership is about like iMe will integrate Litentry into its smart contracts. We'll be having like a Litentry interface within like the iMe Messenger showing users decentralized identity, allowing them to connect their addresses from different platforms. And as a user, like what can I picture for using Litentry identity in iMe? So Victoria.
Just wanted to add that we want to have this optional. So if a person wants to have a digital identity and show it on iMe's account, it's up to him or her to decide. Probably there are going to be some part of users that will say, no, we don't want to share anything at all. We just want to be 100% anonymous, and that's going to be their choice. It's okay. We'll keep it optional on our platform. As a user, just let me think a little bit.
Okay, Lily, do you have anything to add on that?
Yeah, sure. I can also add a couple of things. So I think as a user, I think from a user perspective, indeed, like once you link your iMe ID with your Litentry identity, what you can expect is that you're able to display some of your public identity characters from Litentry. For example, the NFT badges, for example, your historical on-chain activities or your profile information that has been verified as well. So these sort of things you can expect to be able to, to be able to display. And in addition, so any such personal information is actually controlled by the user themselves. So you can choose what sort of access you want to provide, if you want to make it, private or public, and you can do that on the dashboard that Litentry will provide. I think from a user perspective, that's definitely something quite interesting.
Yeah, definitely. And just to add a bit of contemplation on the issue, Litentry integration will enable users to display their on-chain identity computation output, their participation in governance, their scores, credit ratings, liquidity providing history, and it can be shared with the service providers to make the interaction in a better way. And users can count for preferential treatment if they meet their requirements, for instance. Now, such mode of DeFi activities of a user will be available for our partner services and for other users, of course, by users' permission. And in the future, probably we can introduce a kind of rating systems. It can be something like DeFi operations rating, social activity rating, reputation ratings, and so on and so forth. So several things can be introduced. And based on a user's past activity, it will represent a kind of digital karma. So if the karma is good, a person will get access to more features and more opportunities. Also, upon the Telegram Spaces, we can apply accounts verifications like we have on Twitter or Instagram already. It has a blue tick, like it's verified, and we can prove upon a Telegram platform that that person is real. He has been verified, and of course, it's will be up to him. And we can prove that this person is this person. And we can rank Telegram channels according to the rate of trust. And if we see that a Telegram group is run by a trustworthy person that has a digital identity, we can rank this channel better. So it's going to be in the upper position to others. We can also authorize influencers and other people if they want to use it for some business purposes. Also, as for integration of Litentry and iMe, our wallet will support lit tokens. They will be available in our application, in our wallet. And as we introduce some more services like lending and borrowing, such cooperation, as I said, will enable users to make to participate and to have access to that services, and will enable service providers to make better decisions. And upon our ecosystem, some more benefits that could be applied for some more benefits of having the ID.
As we introduce some more services like
participation in audios, airdrops from iMe partners, more relevant content, better conditions for using DeFi, better credit rates or lending services, and so on and so forth. Because we plan to integrate a lot of services, and we have a lot of partners. I will show you closer to the end of our session, and we can integrate their services as well. So a lot of bonuses will appear there with the introduction of digital identity on iMe Smart Platform.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting. Like, I can see there are more people joining the chat room. And for those who wasn't here before, let me repeat again, we actually have like a total $450 worth of USDT bounty for the best 3 questions. So please ask your question in the live chat room and follow both of our Telegram community in the description sections. And for those questions who got selected by Victoria at the end of the AMA will receive 150 USDT each. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to some really good questions. And coming back to this partnership, Lilly, in terms of the user experience of this integration, I think like will Litentry support user experience like single sign-on for a social media platform like iMe?
Yes, single sign-on. So it's actually a very interesting, question. I think a lot of people are familiar with single sign-on already from experiences in Web 2. But single sign-on is actually a very useful feature in general, and it allows users to, have this one-stop experience. It really is nice from an experience point of view, and it could be very interesting as well when applying to blockchain applications. If you imagine like logging into multiple sort of platforms, being able to log into those platforms with just one single click on something like Litentry sign on, and then you can then have those corresponding applications call up your Litentry app or your browser extension or whatever, and just get this login signature, and you basically finish the whole registration and login with your Litentry account. And if you imagine that, it's actually your cross-chain user information can then be further leveraged by the application, so you can obtain this exclusive experience, and it's also just with the one click, so it could be very exciting. Of course, it's similar to what Google does with the Google login, but I think Litentry could potentially also have something like a decentralized alternative, because the fundamental of identity aggregation is actually to connect different identities. And so when Litentry actually could introduce something like this, what we could do is to provide you a secure solution so you can link different self-controlled decentralized identities. And this way you can sort of streamline your registration sort of authentication processes. And it will be so much faster that way for you. But it's also what's super valuable is that, apart from the experience, it's also decentralized. And I think it's super possible that in the future, Litentry could provide something like this. but it's not necessarily something that we will develop ourselves. It could be, for example, built by one of the other teams in our ecosystem. And I think there's even like a team that's working on something similar, like on top of Litentry. And if you want to like learn more about this, just check out the DID Builders Collective program later on, because there's quite a lot of interesting things going in that direction there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
would it be
Sounds
nice
really,
to link
yeah.
all the accounts to a Telegram handle as well in the future?
Yeah, and yeah, I think that sounds really user friendly. And what about security? Like, how does Litentry manage privacy issues that could happen in social media or messengers like iMe? When we use like Litentry identity to log into iMe, like, will we be revealing our crypto identities, Lily?
So I think we've been stressing this point quite a lot, but generally privacy is super important to us, and we've naturally spent quite some time thinking about how to make sure that we're protecting the user privacy. What we are trying to do, so we have this Litentry protocol design. We haven't published it yet, but we can definitely talk a little bit about it. So first, what you do is you as a user, you can have access and sort of transparency on which platforms and what sort of information they have about you. And what we are trying to do is we're making this access to the user profile fully customizable and controllable, so that every time a third party, a different project actually, is using or requesting information about your profile, you actually, you can see that they need to have a valid authentication from you. And every time you're like, okay, I don't want them to have any more the authentication, you can sort of do that very easily. So you can terminate their access to your, Litentry identity management profile. And so in this case, you have full acknowledgement of what's going on, and you have full control as well. And so this could be, for example, something very useful when it comes to, like your information being used, for example, in platforms like iMe and, some other platforms as well. You always have the choice. So that's one thing, the transparency. But apart from that, also, like, we want to make sure that the what we are using is something called the trusted execution environment. And this is basically something that will allow us to have a secure area inside our main processor. So it's kind of like a separate, isolated environment, but it's highly, trusted. And it guarantees that the code and data that we have is actually protected in respect to confidentiality and integrity. And so this prevents the risk of, privacy breaches and these sort of things during the identity generation process. And that's like another level of protection that we're building in. And one other thing that I also want to stress on is the fact that we actually don't store your profile data except for the account linking relationships between the different blockchains. And so what this means is that the data is encrypted, and each time an application requests, your identity data, the actual Litentry network, we aggregate all of the data in a decentralized way. And so, it's in real time, and we don't store the results. So that means we're actually reducing a lot the risk of, privacy breaches. And so in the end, there's a lot going on in terms of privacy, because it's a super important topic for us. And we just want to make sure that the users actually understand this. They always have the choice. I think in general, it might mean that sometimes the usability is a bit not maximized, but we always try to give in the end the user the choice what they want, whether or not they want to share the information or not. And I think this is what the people should remember. They always have the power to keep their privacy with themselves.
Yeah. So yeah, got it, totally got it. Just giving back to users their natural rights of using their identity. So yeah, I also have a question for Victoria. I noticed, because I've been using iMe, and I noticed there are two types of token or crypto asset, you name it, on iMe. One is called Lime token, and the other one is called AI token. And I think Lime token is the one that is about to go on IDO or INO. So yeah, what's the difference between these two, and what's the reason for designing this dual token economy structure?
Okay. I think there has been a bit misunderstanding during our development period about this moment. It's good that you asked us about that. Thanks. Because iMe, iCoin is not crypto at all. So it was introduced inside our ecosystem for acquiring new features inside our application. So people with some iCoins on their accounts could have more functionality inside our application. It doesn't have any investment purposes at all. So it's going to have a fixed value. So we do not ask people or inspire people to buy iCoins. Surely people that have some iCoins in their accounts inside the application, in the future, they will be able to swap them to Lime tokens and then use Lime. And Lime is our one and only token of the project. It's going to be issued pretty soon. We already have released a smart contract for Lime on ERC20. It was audited by Biosyn and Certic, and we expect launching Lime tokens at the end of this week. So people interested in our tokens can keep an eye on our news. A lot of good things gonna happen in the near future, like Binance Smart Chain integration and Lime tokens release. But we'll ask you not to mix Lime token with AI coins.
Okay. Yeah. Got it. Yeah. So yeah, definitely useful, very useful information. Then looping back to the security. Apologize. I love asking questions about security. Yeah, just to make sure like everything is safe for users and also for investors. Like I understand in terms of messaging, there wouldn't be too much privacy issue because iMe is built on Telegram, which supports end-to-end encryption. But on the wallet side, like how do you ensure the privacy and safety of users?
You put it correctly, absolutely right, that we do not proceed any data through our servers. All the data is proceeded through Telegram services. We have no access to that data at all, and we cannot know what you write to your friends or relatives. It's impossible to have the access there. And as for the wallet side, of course, it's our part of responsibility. And our wallet has double encryption. It has a password and has a PIN code, and everything is stored and kept on the user's device. So no iMe servers are involved in this process. So only you are the sole proprietor of your key phrase and passwords and of your device. So if you do not give your device to the third party, if you do not share your password or an encryption phrase with anyone, so there is almost no chance of hacking your wallet.
Wow, that sounds pretty safe from my side. And yeah, before we get in questions, I still have one last question for you two. Could you tell us something about your short-term plan? Anything exciting coming up that you would like to share with the audience? Lily?
Yeah, sure. Actually, we definitely have quite a few exciting things coming up. So we are going to obviously bid for the Kusama parachain, and that will be followed by a token migration. And then on top of that, it's something that I mentioned in the last AMA. So we definitely have a new product announcement coming in June. So very soon, stay tuned. And it's something that we want to welcome everyone to try out. There will be rewards for the early supporters, of course. And I think what's really exciting is like the marketing campaign around it. It's very creative. It's really going to be massive. So definitely stay tuned. The team has really prepared some cool things for you guys. Yeah, and apart from that, we of course are working to integrate more and more cool partners like iMe. We have also quite a few other things that the team's working on and designing as we speak. And yeah, we definitely want to make sure that whatever we're building, it's something that the community wants. It's something that there's something that actually answers a real need. And so, yeah, we have quite a few interesting things coming from our community as well. So stay tuned. Quite a few things coming up.
Victoria?
Sure, let me one more time share my screen. I'm going to show you our roadmap to give you the rough idea of where we're standing at the moment. So here it is. And as you can see, the past milestones are ticked. Here we moving towards Binance Smart Chain integration. I have a lot of spoilers here today, and we're going to introduce it today or tomorrow. So your audience is going to be also the first to know. Then, of course, we are looking at the Lime release, and it's going to happen pretty soon. If nothing interferes, it's going to be at the end of this week. And after that, we have our listing at Uniswap. And also the most exciting things to happen is Binance Smart Chain after Binance Smart Chain integration of other DEXs like PancakeSwap and 1inch. Now we are waiting that. And after that, we're going to introduce a lot of our partners' products. I wanted to say that Litentry stands among the first partners to be integrated to iMe Smart Platform, as we see a lot of value in that integration. And I can show you one more. Here's the list of our partners and investors. You can check. There is Simplex, whose service we are using currently in iMe Smart Platform. Litentry, of course, we're going to integrate, to start integrating in a month or so. And of course, we are waiting for our Lime tokens to complete. As for the tokens, there are going to be a lot of use cases, so we can announce them right away. To bring more people interacting with our platform. We have a lot of ideas. The first is to provide a lifelong subscription services for only one Lime, for holding only one Lime on your account. Like, for example, a lifelong subscription to use Uniswap without any extra fees from our side. Somebody can be a lucky user holding only one Lime. Yield farming with our partners tokens, voting, taking part in the development of our ecosystem, a tier system, which means some options will be available for those who hold more or less Lime tokens, and acquiring other tokens of our partners. So it's a brief and a bit rough idea what we're going to implement in the nearest future. And as I told earlier, we're gonna develop our ecosystem more and more in the four main directions: insurance, predictions, IDO platforms, and NFT marketplace. And we do hope that it's gonna happen pretty soon. To make it faster, to make the progress faster, we plan to increase our development team. Sometimes, you know, it's very hard because Telegram codes handling demands a lot of obtaining a lot of skills. We can hire only high skilled developers because the code is really difficult. It has no equals, and that's what the nearest future will bring to us. And introducing new chains, of course, like Polkadot is for sure, and some other chains like Solana or other can be put on a vault inside our ecosystem. And the chain that wins is going to be integrated first, and then we can integrate some other chains. And we do hope that our community will support us, and that our user base will continue growing. As we can see, it's growing very fast, and we plan to 2022, we plan to come up to 10 million users. So that's it. We'll see what future brings us. I can also show you one more short video, not to talk every time, about our iMe ecosystem, if time allows us.
Yeah, play it, please. Yeah.
Start your unique journey into the world of decentralized finance with the iMe ecosystem, which is based on the Lime token, designed for creating and managing the DAO structure. DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization where iMe community will have the opportunity to participate in the vote and make decisions affecting the development of the project. Lime token holders will have the access to the privileged functionality of iMe, determined to become oracles for entire ecosystem community. One of the important components of the iMe is the cryptocurrency wallet, integrated into the infrastructure of the messenger developed on the Telegram basis. To ensure safe purchase of the cryptocurrency with a bank card, a reliable partner, Simplex, has been added to iMe Wallet, which provides fiat infrastructure for the crypto industry. Making cryptocurrency transfers between users has become more convenient and easier than ever. Right inside iMe chats or by Telegram ID, without the need to know the recipient's address. The classic method of transfer to public addresses is also available. The decentralized protocol Uniswap, integrated in iMe, allows you to exchange Ether and tokens between each other through smart contracts, without switching to a third-party service. And the ability to add fraudulent tokens into iMe will keep you from losses if you accidentally exchange for a fake token. iMe will always assist you, even when the Ethereum network is overloaded and gas prices is unacceptable. The integration of the Binance Smart Chain into iMe will enable to use technologies for making more faster and cheaper transactions. Of course, all of us are waiting for the Ethereum 2.0 emergence. From moving to a new level of scalability, the iMe team is ready for this flight.
Okay. So yeah, but to sum up, we'd like to invite everybody to keep an eye on our social media accounts, to follow our updates, to search for our listing date. And generally, as you can see, as we grow our ecosystem, it can become very exciting, very big, and provide a lot of services right inside one application. we want to create such a handy tool for everyday operations, for communications, for crypto management. And we can provide up-level features all in one, and all is pretty easy, like in one double click.
Yeah, I'm really glad to hear like we both have many things going on, regardless like the short-term like market conditions. I know like it's been a rough 1 month. And so next, we'll be answering questions from our audience. So now is your last chance to get $150 worth of USDT. So let me clarify this. Only the questions that are selected by Victoria from iMe will get the reward, because obviously they provided the reward. And yeah, so I'll pick questions for Lily to answer first. And then as Lily speak, Victoria, please go through the questions in the live chat and pick your own questions. And don't forget to let me know the username so I can DM the person for their address. Okay, so let me go through the questions. Okay. Yep, I got one for Lily. So Litentry has been listing on Korean exchange Coin One recently. What is your view on Korean market and the community?
Yes, we did have a listing. We absolutely love Korea. So South Korea is such an interesting market. Honestly, it's like it has this super like high penetration of crypto investors. A lot of young people are involved. It's really inspiring, I would say, to see. And when it comes to if you compare it to other markets out there, I would say the Korean one's definitely like very mature, very sophisticated, and I think it's just really interesting to monitor the developments there, what's going on. It had, in recent years, it was a bit, I think there was some dip, maybe some projects, a bit less projects, a little bit less maybe investors, but I think it's still going very strong. The big names are still there, like Hash and Icon, and I think the reason why a lot of people there hold more Bitcoin versus Ethereum, it's probably because they have those two very popular blockchains, Terra and Clayton. And so I think it's quite interesting to just monitor what's going on there. And I think we're super happy to be in Korea. We're super happy to have a very strong community there. And we were definitely looking at ways to engage our community there, to grow it further, to get listed on more exchanges as well.
Yeah, for sure. Victoria, are you ready to review the first winner of tonight? Hi, Victoria.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
have you got your questions?
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. How does iMe plan to attract new users? What advertising channels does it use, and what does it plan in the future? It's a question from Nick.
Okay.
I've sent it to you. So, of course, there is, the hardest part is to get the first 100 of users, and then it goes better and better in just mathematically, because it spreads, and there is the word of mouth, of course, up to now, as we have a lot of downloads and users. And of course, we use all of our partners' resources. They are very helpful. They provide us with some promotional opportunities on different markets in China, for instance. And we use publications in media. We use AMAs in different on different Telegram channels and WeChat groups. We use a lot of marketing firms to help us. So, but the truth is, it is set in the numbers. It's really a handy tool and has a lot of advantages over the common Telegram. It spreads in different countries, sometimes even without pushing from our side.
Yeah, okay. Yep, sounds really interesting. I'm really looking forward to it. And then I've got another question for Lilly. What will happen during the ERC20 migration, and how can we convert Lit token back to other cryptos? I think this question has been asked in the 10 for Litentry campaign, but didn't get enough likes. But personally, I think this is pretty important question to be answered. So Lilly, do you have the answer for our audience?
Sure. It's definitely very important, and I think it definitely requires some some attention to this. But I'll keep it short. In general, what will happen is that we will officially run a bridge to support the migration of Lit tokens from ERC20 to our native one. And users will then, send the ERC20 tokens to the contract along with the Lit receiving address on our mainnet. And what we will do is we'll freeze the balance on Ethereum network and then send the corresponding amount to the specified address on the Litentry mainnet. So that's kind of like in a nutshell. I think it's important that we just note a couple of things. Like we consider the native Lit token will be primarily performing its utility function, and so when it comes to trading, people can always deposit the Lit token to exchanges and gain exposure to other cryptos there. And also, as a next step, what we want to do, we will support a bi-directional bridge to allow users to actually convert back to ERC20 if needed.
Yeah, cool. So fantastic. Agree with you. So next, Victoria, do you have our second winner of the night?
Yep, it's from J.A. Bronx. And this question is for both of the parties. So let's answer it together. Probably I can start. Can you give us your top 3 features that make possible through Lit and iMe partnership? And what does this integration mean for iMe users or vice versa? So I would say that in iMe wallet, we can support the Lit token and all the users. And as I mentioned, we have over nearly 500K of activated wallets and over 60K of active wallets that are using transactions. And we can support the Lit token there. So it will be available for our user base. And we have a lot of users at the moment, and we plan to grow our user base in the future. The second thing is we can arrange different activities and services. We can empower yield farming. We can negotiate about this. So for somebody taking limes or Lits, we can have bonuses in our partners' tokens, or foresee different other incentive programs. But as we are at the very beginning of our cooperation, and we're gonna start our integration in the near future, so we can develop some other ways of this cooperation. How do you think, Jackie?
Cool. Yeah, cool. Yeah, so Lily, do you have anything to say regarding this question?
Yeah, sure. I think what we could do also from our side, once the accounts get linked, what we could do is that we provide the sort of on-chain governance features like, governance score, or we can even compute like using our algorithms, we can compute your sort of credit scores and so on. And I think this could help users to present themselves, the digital selves in their completeness if they choose to do so. And I think this is something that could enable, different services in this sort of social media, social networking environment. And I think having that sort of opportunity with Litentry also provides the level of privacy protection. I think that a lot of our users will actually be interested in.
Yeah, sure. I probably misunderstood a little bit the question in perspective of our tokens of both projects. But generally, yes, absolutely agree with the expanded functionality of DeFi due to DID that is going to be enabled upon iMe platform as well. Yeah, great. I totally agree. I think that would be a great match for both our team to be creative, and I think creativity is what makes the future. And yeah, I've got the third question for Lily. Can you give me a little explanation, how does Litentry tackle or control multi-identity fraud?
All right. So actually, Litentry doesn't really deal with this problem directly. Because its role is to organize the identity data layer in Web3. And so this problem could be resolved when we build up, for example, a robust credit system. Because when we have a secure way to evaluate our identities, and we create this digital world where we have our identity verified and secure, then the identity is going to be quite central. It's going to be playing a central role. And a lot of the aspects of the services that will be provided, I think, will require that sort of, secure identity data. And so the ecosystem will have to rely on it more and more. And I think this will sort of help to tackle that, fraud aspect, if you think about it. So I don't know if I made myself clear, but if you imagine basically the case when you want to attack an identity specific service with like a new address, then it's actually it could be, for example, it could be quite costly for you to create and maintain a bunch of addresses to do that. And so it's going to be harder and harder for you to do this if we have this sort of ecosystem that verifies each identity out there. And so I think in this way, such attacks will start to actually be prevented more and more. Because the cost will grow rapidly when the system of DID grows stronger and stronger. So it's a lot to do actually with having a strong ecosystem that helps us to have that sort of multi-identity fraud prevented.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. And then Victoria, do you have your last questions ready?
Yep. Sure. It's from TikTok. How do you plan to spread awareness about the project in different countries where English is not good? Do you have a local community for them to better understand your project? That's one more question to tell you about our build and translator function, because we run our official group on iMe and Telegram. It is run by one of our co-founders mostly. He's the chief admin there, and he doesn't speak English. And these groups allows everyone to participate, and he gives replies. He communicates on 24/7 basis with people from all around the world, just thanks to that function. And of course, in some countries, we plan to have local communities. We already have one in Vietnam. It is run by one of our partners, the Titans Ventures. And as for China, we plan to introduce WeChat communities pretty soon. We are starting them this week. So, yep, and we welcome everyone to join our official group. Disregarding their language, their country.
Yeah, got it. Thank you so much for joining the panel discussion today. I'm sure the discussion tonight is really constructive and meaningful. And I wish iMe and Litentry all the best. And then, hopefully everyone survived this past 1 month. As a long-term oriented project team, we are super dedicated and we are really focusing on building the future of Web3. We focus on our product, our ecosystem, our community, and I believe everything will pay off, and so does iMe. And yeah, please don't forget to download and try iMe Messenger. I have their website in the description section. And yeah, please follow our Twitter, join the Telegram community, and subscribe to our today. See you. Bye. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you.